Yo everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Steins Gate Zero. We had just watched an interesting presentation by Dr. Lexiskin. I could never say his name. And Maho talking about, well, artificial intelligence and continuing Chris's work, essentially. It was thanks to Izaki I was able to get into the reception held after the ATF was over. They told me there was a dress code, so I went all the way back to my parents' house to get a suit to change into. At first, all the effort paid off as Izaki introduced me to some of the country's top researchers. Ooh. Plus, you know, that suave Ocarine. Reckon Jack has EMS. Okay. Institute of Material Structure Science. A lab at the High Energy Accelerator Research Organization KEK, located in Tsukuba Ibarakai. It primarily works in using electron accelerators to investigate the structure and property of matter. Huh. Japan Aerospace, I believe these... Oh god, there's a lot of info here. I believe JAXA, these are this is like one of the main companies that the guys that make these games, they actually talk with these guys a lot in order to help get some of the science right, so it's kind of neat. The National Aerospace Agency of Japan, independent administrative agency formed in October 2003 by using the Institute of Space. There's so much words. Only 2 rocket launch pads. It also has Japan's only 2 rocket launch pads located in... Interesting. The Institute of Physics and Chemical Research, founded in 1917, it is Japan's only general national science institute. Research at Riken covers a variety of fields like physics, engineering, chemistry, computer science, biology, and medicine. Is based in Mako City, Saitama. There are also labs in also locations and other locations. There also research in America. Interesting. But before long, Izaki ran off to suck up to some university professor, and I was left completely abandoned. But I have mine. Oh, wow! Okay. Oh. Yuki Anime? Oh, okay. Mayuri Darudukako, Suzaha Ferris. My initial thought is that might be Suzaha's mother, and not Suzaha under a different name. There we go. Daru. I can't believe you get to go to a fancy party. Die in a fire, Mr. Fancy Pants. You could have helped too, you know. I'm sorry, but when you're given the chance, you have to rub it in. All the food here looks so good. Bring me a doggy bag back. Hell no, I can't do that. You can't do what you set your mind to. There are no limits but the vast blue sky. I can come get it right now if you want me to. Are you that hungry? Well, cool, fine. I'll get you something. But I refuse. What? Well, I love the fact that they have some of the emojis of the characters as well. It's like, I need all of these. These all need to be a thing. But I'm glad. Like, I was expecting this game to be pretty damn dark, and I'm still expecting it. But I'm glad it still has those moments of calmness. Oh, I hit auto by mistake. I don't want auto. Moments of calmness, and it can take its time and be all chillax and silly and whatnot, which makes it easier to get through the dark and horrible times. My own personal target, Dr. Linskin, was surrounded by a bunch of famous scientists. I didn't feel like a mere student would be welcome, and so I did. So all I did was stand around and eat from the buffet by the wall. To be honest, I couldn't tell if the food was any good or not. Whenever my glass got empty, a smiling waiter was always around to fill it up again, so I found myself drinking more than I intended. My stomach was already so full it hurt. The whole place felt like it was another world. I'm really not cut out for this. At the exact same moment I spoke, I heard a girl next to me say the exact same thing. Surprised, I looked over at her. Our eyes met. Oh, you. What was a middle school doing here? Schoolgirl doing here? Go on, Okabe, you know who she is. And then, a moment later, I realised it was Maho. She was wearing the exact same outfit she'd been wearing during the lecture. A lab coat in a place like this? That's just what the old me would have done. Let me see, Maho was clearly out of place. Why? Because she was still wearing a lab coat. Why are you wearing a lab coat? I couldn't help but ask. I was sure I bought some real clothes. She was sure she had, but she hadn't. And that's why she was standing in the corner trying not to attract attention. I like the fact they have more, what's the word I'm looking for? Movement in the character portraits. This is the guy who was at the desk this afternoon. I'm Okabe Minato. I'm a student at Tokyo Denki University in Professor Izaki's class. I handed her one of the business cards that I'd thrown together after Izaki told me I needed them. She grabbed one of her own. Out of a stack and carelessly put it in my hands. It's fine. No need to be so polite. That was a huge help. My name's pretty rare, isn't it? Huh? Oh, yeah. You said no one could read it? I looked at the card and saw that the pronunciation of her name was written in unusually large letters. It was probably because of how people kept screwing it up. Can I see that card, please? It's a common name in Okinawa, though. You're from Okinawa? My great-grandmother and great-grandfather were immigrants. I was born and raised in America. No. You don't look half Japanese. Quarter Japanese? Nope. My grandpa, grandma, mom, and dad are all Japanese. My DNA is pure Japanese. Oh god. Diroxybonalics nucleic acid, commonly called genes. It is structured like a double helix and consists of 4 bases. Adrenaline? Adenine? All of these are paired off with one another. The nature of these base appearance determines the genetic information of a creature, and the number of its bases and varies by species. In the case of the human, that number is 3.1 billion. My DNA is purely Japanese. Huh. And then the conversation stopped. I'm a terrible conversationalist, honestly. The old me would have gone full Shinbuyu and started ranting about conspiracies and magical powers, whether the other person cared or not, but you can't really call that a conversation. They definitely broke the ice. Literally, 8th grader disease. This term refers to the slightly unusual actions and speech patterns commonly used by Japanese boys undergoing puberty. It can be used as a pejorative term towards people who left puberty a long time ago, but still say highly embarrassing things as if they were still kids. Shinbuyu refers to someone who performs antisocial, misanthropic, or delusional actions, or makes statements in an attempt to make themselves seem like a grown-up. While the speaker may think that they're really cool, from the perspective of an adult, they look ridiculous. Chibuyu can be broken down further into categories, one of which is the evil eye Chinbuyu, which also seems convinced that he has a special anime power or backstory, for example, an evil eye that gives him magical powers. Strictly speaking, Ocarina falls into this category. Very much so. I had no idea what to say to someone I'd never met before. I've been working on becoming a real adult, even buying and studying men's magazines, but none of them really helped. Without anything to talk about, I looked over to Dr. Lininskin. He seemed to be giving a lecture on neurons to a bunch of scientists. I'm sorry about today. Huh? Sorry for what? For interrupting your lecture. Oh, that. Don't worry about it. She doesn't look too happy. If you hadn't spoken up, I probably would have. I can't stand people like that. Sure, that would have been a good idea. You heard what the professor said, a scientist should remain calm at all times. I'm not speaking as a scientist right now, so it's fine. It must really ticked her off because she grabbed a cocktail from a passing waiter and gulped it down. Whew. Her cheeks turned a pretty shade of pink for an instant, but no longer. She might have a high alcohol tolerance. But you're right, really. Sorry. Criticisms like that aren't very nice, but they're true. A lot of our research still has a long way to go. Really? There's a lot of problems we still have to deal with, more than we discussed at the lecture. Here's an example. We can write memory data back into the brain, but if the brain cannot use it, then it's useless. The memories are there, but you can't get to them. It's basically the same as amnesia. As Maho spoke, I remembered. I remembered all the lectures and theories that Krisu had given me when she was making the time loop machine. If you remember right, when people try to access their memories, the signal goes from the frontal lobe to the temporal lobe, right? Frontal lobe. Part of the saldium located at the front of the brain, it controls thought, will, action, movement, creativity, and more. The frontal lobe can be further divided by location into the prefrontal blah 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 blah. I'm looking forward to later on in the game where I have less of these to go on. Yep, top-down memory signal search. The signals from the central lobe are sent through the frontal lobe. Okay. So then I started to talk, remembering what Chris had told me about her theories as I went. When I use specialized terminology whose meaning I barely remembered, Maho would tell me what they were. And so finally, in the process of writing those memories back to the temporal lobes, if you send the pseudo-pulse you copied along with them to the front lobes, the memory search signal will function properly, I think. Did you figure that out for yourself? What? No. Maho looked back at the business card I'd given her. Your major isn't in brain science, so someone told you this. Or did you read it in a paper? No, that's impossible. She wouldn't have put it into a paper yet. Did I say something wrong? No, that's not it. One of the researchers at the lab said the exact same thing. None of the other staff believed her, but she said she was sure she could prove it. In the end, she left us before she can get to the test stage. That's... Should I tell her? Should I tell her about me and Krisu? In this war line, there's almost no connection between me and Krisu. What is it? I've made up my mind. If I wanted to follow my dreams, I needed to act. Actually, it was Krisu who told me about this theory. What? What did you just say? Masuke Krisu told me about it. Krisu told you? When? Why? When she was over here as an exchange student. We became friends and talked to me about this stuff. Of course, that was a lie. Krisu and I became friends in the Alpha World line, not this one. But it was a small lie like this was... But a small lie like this was probably okay. I see, so Krisu... Thank you. I mean it. Her words surprised me. That was the one thing I didn't expect her to say. For what? For being her friend. She came to Japan all alone. I mean, I'm sure she would have been bored studying all by herself. All we ever did was fight, though. That sounds like her. She never gave in, did she? Never. She'd argue for hours. She'd tell me all the time about how she was going to give me a lobotomy and rip out my frontal lobe. Method of treating mental illness by performing surgery on the brain. A small hole is opened in the skull and a long knife is used to remove the frontal lobe. In some cases, this was significant to cure the illness. The inventor was even given a Nobel Prize for his work. However, due to the serious psychological side effect and damage to the personality caused by the loss of the frontal lobe, lobotomies were banned worldwide in 1970s. What? She wouldn't... I could see Krisu saying that. Right? You need to discipline your researchers better. I'll admit that much. Sorry. She smiled, or so I thought. Then all of a sudden she started to cry. What's wrong? I didn't have any better ideas, so I grabbed my handkerchief. She didn't seem to know why she was crying herself. And neither did I. Had I say something during the conversation that set her off? Are you okay? I'm fine, sorry. She didn't take my handkerchief. Instead, she took a tissue out of her pocket and wiped her eyes. My brave third Einstein. What? Oh, hey. I turned around and saw Dr. Lean Skin smiling and quickly striding towards me. Ah. He grabbed my hand as he got closer. The handshake was incredibly forceful. And his hands were as big as a bear's paw. No, not just his hands. Standing in front of me, he looked even bigger than he had during the lecture. I'm pretty tall, but he's at least a head taller than me. Professor, Oh, it was also sudden. I couldn't even think of an introduction. And wait, did he just speak in Japanese? Still, I don't approve of you making my assistant cry. Oh no, that is... No, Professor, it wasn't his fault. He had nothing to do with it. What's suddenly happening? Maho and I denied it as much as we could, but I didn't know words. But I didn't know why Maho was crying, so I couldn't even come up with any excuses. I just started to panic even more. So basically, Krisu. I was talking to him about Krisu and I started crying. You're a friend of Krisu's? Yes. This is Okabe Renato. I'm switching those names around, damn it. It's very confusing. I'm used to Japanese being family name first, then given name. He's a student. Maho introduced me. Dr. Linskin, Liskinian, had a gentle expression on his face, as if he gave me a slow hug. I felt like I was going to suffocate in his massive arms. Somehow I could tell that was his way of remembering Krisu. I see. If that's the case, then Maho. Yes? Why not introduce her to Mr. Okabe? You can't mean Amadeus? It was good luck that brought him to us here, wasn't it? While we're in Japan, you can have him be a tester. Are you serious? You can't just let an outsider. If he's a friend of Krisu's, he's no outsider, correct? But, sir, what were they talking about? I have no idea, but this was my chance to build a relationship with Dr. Linskin. I didn't want to blow it. I'd love to help. Oh, yes. Nice! He patted me on the shoulders and smiled. It was an innocent smile, like a child's. Also, I just hope that this isn't a Dr. Nakabayashi, whatever, Chris's father's stage where he ends up being the bad guy. I don't want that to happen again. He looks like he cares, kinda, maybe? I don't know. Okay then, ask Maho for the details. Thanks. Another scientist was calling him, so he wandered away. Maho was shaking her head in disbelief. What's he talking about? Meeting Amadeus, being a tester. The demonstration of Amadeus we did during the conversation used my memory, but Amadeus has another researcher's memory saved as data. Another researcher's memories? What did that mean? When I finally figured it out from Dr. Linskin and Mo's conversation, my heart started pounding. You can't mean her? Yeah. Krisu Masuke's memories are stored in Amadeus. They're 8 months old, though. Oh. Oh. Several days passed after the ATF party. 10 minutes from Ikebukuro via the express train, and then 10 minutes by bus from the station called Wako City in Saitama. The office I was looking for was on the second floor of a building next to Riken. Ooh, very fancy. Global Brain Science. Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, Japanese official prep room. Oh god, that was what on the plate on the door said. To get in, you needed 3 types of special keys plus a security card. What is this place? The plan is for brain scientists all around the world to work together to make a new organization. Our lab is leading the way. She led me inside. Whoa. The office must have been newly rented. Most of the desks were still empty, showing no sign of having been used. Just quickly checking my phone. Ferris! The mysterious Sukas have at least appeared in Akibara. Gasp. This is one of the hidden doors of Akibara that leads to the truth, Nya. If you know naught of it, then very well. It saddens me that we cannot journey together, but if my sacrifice shall put an end to this, then I go through the door with gladness, Nya. They're a lot easier to read than the text messages, that's for sure. It's strange how much can happen in 6 months. How phone technology has changed. There wasn't even a whiteboard, which made it look even more empty. There wasn't a lot of natural light. Maybe the windows were on the north side. The only illumination was from the overhead fluorescent lights. The room felt very cold. This is just the prep room. No one was sitting in any of these desks, but 2 of them had stuff on them. One of them was a mess filled with notes, calculators, wow, coffee cups, and supplement bottles. That one was the one Maho sat down at, which meant the one that was neatly organised must belong to Dr. Lee Skinen, right? Where's the professor? Off today. Well, it was Sunday. Are you off today too? Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to sleep past noon. That's true. When I gone to pick her up from her hotel in Wako City, she came out of the room half asleep. This was the day that I was to meet Aderis Krisu. Mohad gave me over the basics of being a tester on the way here. Essentially, Amadeus needed sample data for conversations. And they were going to give me an environment where I could talk to it at any time, 24 hours a day. She didn't give me any details beyond that though. So I'd be able to talk to Aderis Krisu for 24 hours a day, huh? Is Krisu's Amadeus here? Yeah. Maho nodded and gave me a glance. You just said she, didn't you? Yeah? You two were a lot closer than I thought, weren't you? Maybe my silence was an answer in itself. Maho's response was uncharacteristically hesitant. Nope. Okay. May I have a moment of your time? I'm going with this one because it's the least dickish. Because Not Today is just very blunt and mean. Is it important? It's also kind of blunt and mean. A girl? Huh? Why? No, I just got that feeling somehow. But he's a guy. Wait, what? Oh, I see. That's right, yes. Huh? That's right, yes. I'm sorry, goodbye. What the hell was that conversation? Okay. Mao's response was uncharacteristically hesitant. Maybe you shouldn't meet her after all. Why? The closer you are to someone, the cooler that system is. I'm okay. Fine. I won't bring it up again, but just remember one thing. The memories are from March, the last time Chrisu did an update. So if anything you say about what happened after March, for example when she was in in Japan, she won't remember. That's right, isn't it? And the professor and I have run her program a lot more times between March and today. Each time Chrisu, Amadeus Chrisu, has created memories the original never had. Stories we told her, information she found out on the internet, new people she talked to, things like that. In other words, what you're about to meet isn't Chrisu Masuke, your friend. It's one of the problems with the system. It caused a lot of confusion when people on this side, us humans. Because you think you're talking to the real Chrisu. She didn't get reality and fantasy mixed up, I guess. Our brains have trouble keeping up with the fact that our memories aren't shared with them. Memories that aren't shared. Now there's a feeling I know well. Reading Steiner. It was a power only I possessed, which made my memories different than those of the people around me. Take me to her. Maho gave me a slight nod. This way. She led me to the back of the room. There was a booth separated with a thick partition. To get inside the booth you need a different card key than the one used to get into the room, as well as a security code. You're pretty strict about security. International spies are our biggest threat these days. She entered the security code and locked the door. Go inside. Wow. This is very bare. The room was about 2.5 meters per side. At the end was a white desk, and above it was a PC with a built-in 30-inch screen monitor. Sit just behind me. There's a small sofa that let you sit behind the user and see what was happening on the screen. I sat there. Maho powered the PC and began to type. A second later, the word Amadeus system appeared on screen. Amadeus? Amadeus. That sounds about right. I saw her input the ID in. I have no idea. Antonio Salieri, 1750 to 1825, an Italian composer who lived in the same time as Mozart. He was court composer at the Vienna for many years and trained such famous composers as Beethoven as... I have no idea on those composers. I'm really bad with music history. Samuel and Amadeus, huh? Amadeus is Latin for beloved of God. The middle name of the Austrian composer Mozart. There is also a play and movie about Mozart of the same name, Amadeus. Was there some meaning to that? Come to think of it, the famous movie Amadeus, there was a character who was spiteful and jealous of Mozart's incredible talent, but who, in the bottom of his heart, admired him more than anyone else. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1765 to 1791, an Austrian composer, among with Haydn and Beethoven, he was one of the most famous classic composers. He began to write songs at the age of 5 and left us over 600 masterpieces. In the modern era, he's often referred to as a genius, and there are many stories about him. That character's name was Salieri? Don't look at the password. Maho moved her body to hide her hands. I looked away. She finished logging into the system, and a simple, bare computer prompt appeared on screen. Are you ready? Yeah, do it. Maho entered several commands at the prompt. Sorry, I can't show you this. Well, I won't be able to make any sense of it. Still, you know how it is. She turned off the monitor. Then she spun around to face me. I suddenly realized I had clenched my fists. How long have I been doing that? My hands are sweaty and there's a red spot in the base of my thumb where my nails dug in. Was I more nervous than I realized? Well, what is it? Oh, I'm just starting to get a little scared. There's still time. You can just leave now. You're pretty mean. Really? I'm worried about you. Then act like it, seriously. You, Krisu, you lab girls. For a second, the old joke in me was about to come back. I quickly changed the subject. People who spend all their time doing experiments can be so rude. That was a clear case of slander. I can sue you for defamation if I want. Stop. You're scaring me. I know a good lawyer. Want me to introduce you? How about you stop suing me first? If you want to talk about settlement, you're gonna need a lot of cash. I'll buy you a Dr. P later. The abbreviation of a type of carbonated beverage first served in America during the 1800s. At present, it's only available in eastern Japan and some other small areas. It is a very unique taste. The secret recipe is a combination of over 20 flavors. You're so cheap. I heard a small sound from the back of my throat. I guess she was laughing. Wait. From the back of her throat. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Normally I find that irritating, but strangely coming from the girl in front of me, no. She was a grown woman, actually, I didn't. Maho was very strong-willed, with the prickliness and short temper unique to scientists. She always seemed to be a little upset about something. But maybe she wasn't that bad. Oh, I see. Maho, she's a lot like Krisu. When I first met Krisu, she was like that. Arrogant, rude, never willing to change her mind, stubborn, hard-headed, and always ready to confront you with a raised eyebrow whenever you said something she didn't like. I truly thought I'd never see a more unlikable woman. But despite my first impression, on the inside she turned out to be fragile, easily hurt, and so kind and so lovable. No, I don't like this anymore. It's weird, okay? And with this weirdness, I'm ending this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!